Hello there, Lieutenant Jones from Utah County Sheriff's Office. Today I'm here again, and I know it's no surprise, with Sergeant Spencer Cannon, also from the Utah County Sheriff's Office.
Hello.
I'm riding his coattails because he's famous. He goes down the street, hey, that's that guy from the Sheriff's Office. Yes, he is. It is. Together we're Jeff and Spencer. So, Spencer, we usually save this segment for the last part of these episodes, but today I'm going to put it the first. Spencer, what is that? And when I say that, I mean the Utah County Sheriff's Office SET team.
Okay, SET team, SET is an acronym. Special Enforcement Team is what it stands for. In law enforcement, most law enforcement agencies, you have your patrol deputies or officers, the men and women who are wearing uniforms, driving marked vehicles. They respond to calls, they do proactive enforcement, drugs, alcohol, whatever it might be. Then we have our Major Crimes Task Force here in Utah County. They're the undercover detectives who work on major crimes, like the name says, drug dealing, drugs being distributed from other states and countries into Utah, other homicide cases, major theft cases, things like that. But we found several years ago that there was a certain element of criminal activity locally that was getting missed. Not the guy who gets stopped on a traffic stop and has a dime bag of weed or a few 8 balls of heroin, and not the major crimes people, but the ones in between, maybe doing a little local distribution or committing some crimes here locally. So the SET team was established in order to try to target that area, and it has proven to be very, very productive and very successful at protecting society.
Let me tell you how successful. A few weeks ago, or about a week and a half ago maybe, there was a couple of homicide suspects wanted from Wyoming. They were thought to be in the area. One of these SET team guys, who shall remain nameless,
because they're undercover.
Well, yeah. Decided to commit to his memory what a couple of them looked like. And he did that. So he thought this through. And he thought to himself, and that's probably what he calls himself. He said, self, if I could find these guys, where would they be? Well, they might go to the airport. Because if I was a homicide suspect trying to get out of this valley, I'd go to the airport. But I'd go to a smaller airport. Let's give it a shot. So he drove down to the Provo airport, just a few miles from here. And when he got down there, guess what he found?
He found homicide suspects.
He certainly did, in the parking lot, waiting to be arrested, like it was just delivered to them.
Actually, they were waiting to get on an airplane, but it turned out they were actually waiting to be arrested.
Right. And as he drove past, he gave the head nod, and the guy gave the head nod back. He called for backup, and lo and behold, these guys were taken into custody.
Without incident.
Without incident, which is pretty amazing. This, to me, I think there's a reason for everything, and I think sometimes there's opportunities that come around that are just delivered to you, because I think sometimes that's what karma does. But it's a pretty amazing thing to commit that to memory. It's a pretty amazing thing to find these people, and I don't think they get enough credit for what they do, because their lives are dedicated to what they're doing. Very much so. Now, what you also need to understand is in the last 2 weeks or so, they have dealt with 4 homicide cases that they have helped to apprehend. That's an impressive number. In this valley, they have dealt with that.
One of the cases was here in Utah County in Vineyard. The other 3 were outside, not only outside of Utah County, but in one case outside the state of Utah.
Right. So this is going on every day, all day, while the rest of us are sleeping, while the rest of us are going about our lives. These guys are out protecting the community. I will tell you this, within the last couple of weeks, I went on a ride with them into a parking lot within 5 miles of here and watched transactions that would blow your mind. Amounts of drugs and cash exchanged that are inconceivable. We're talking within the last week or so, they've dealt with pounds of cocaine, pounds of methamphetamines, all intended for people that are making bad choices. But these are bad people that have the intent to hurt people for their benefit that are doing this.
Yeah, they're not all that way. A lot of people who make bad choices are just generally good people making bad choices. But these people that Lieutenant Jones is talking about, they are the evil that they do.
They are. And I'll tell you this, if you're one of those people and you think that Utah County is the place to come to bring your drugs, break the law, if you are a homicide suspect, you come here, we will find you. We will do everything we can to put you in jail, COVID or not, you will be in jail. Sheriff Smith wants us to make sure that you understand that.
Yeah, that's part of his mission. One other thing I want to mention that has been in the news off and on the last couple of months. Back in February, Payson Police arrested a couple of guys in a case involving alleged hate crimes in an assault against an LDS missionary. Booked into jail and bailed out of jail. Once he bailed out, a couple of days later, he was arrested again on some unrelated warrants and got out of jail. His name is Sebastian West. A judge back in early March issued a $25,000 arrest warrant for Mr. West. Well, these same people on our set team were sitting around yesterday planning their day, which is their night. And as they were doing that, one of them got a news alert on his smartphone that talked about Sebastian West and the fact that there's this $25,000 warrant. And he said, guys, this meeting is over. We need to go catch Mr. West. That was about 5:30 yesterday evening, and by 8 o'clock they had Mr. West in custody. That's how good these guys are at their job, investigating what the possibilities are, determining where he was, verifying that that's where he was, and then making an arrest. All this to protect society.
They do good work. So, we got a new picture.
Yes, we do.
New picture that my dad actually made by hand with a blowtorch in 1985. I was pretty young then. I was 16.
I was 25.
Oh, 25. Long time ago. Anyway, remember, don't do bad things. Always do good things.